Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Eman Hardy, who recently won his fight on CFFC 158. Hello, Eman. How are you?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good, and your performance was actually, I think, that overall kind of crazy because you beat a really good prospect in the really like impressive fashion. But let's start from this. So, a few days to the fight, did you feel any like kind of pressure? Because in the end, he's a really good prospect, and obviously you don't want to lose any fights. So did you feel any like maybe stress, maybe pressure?
No, not really. Like for me, leading up to fights, I try to take everything one day at a time and really focus on what I'm doing in the moment. Like I don't talk unless I'm excited. I don't talk about the fight up until like the day of. But I also kind of knew what I was going to do, so I was excited about I was excited about how it was going to be after, but outside of like losing, I thought losing would be more annoying than anything. So it's like it's not really too much of an emotion I would really harp on.
And actually, from the start, I think that everyone can see like confidence in your like performance. You looked like you actually can't lose, so it's obviously also a really impressive thing. But how do you think that this is important to be confident in the cage? Because even on the really high level, it's kind of like rare thing to see someone who is like he knows that he will win.
I feel like confidence is the most important part of fighting. I feel like sometimes fight confidence is more important than the fight itself. Like I always tell like my teammates and everything, I'm like, it's confidence is earned, and there's delusional confidence, which me personally, I don't believe in. I feel like confidence comes from experience and being in situations and proving to yourself that you can perform under certain situations and not just wanting to believe it. And I've been the underdog in about the majority of my fights, except for maybe one. So I've always been in fights where I'm supposed to lose, and he was a E3 national wrestling champion. He played football at a high level and this and that, and he was 4-1 in his hometown. Like he had every on paper he had every reason to win, but I look at the actual facts and how we matched up. And I think I said that before, but yes, when I look at the matchup, there was there wasn't any way I should lose, except for like I said, if he knocked me out. But I didn't plan on getting knocked out, so it's like, all right, I've never been knocked out before, so I had no real reason to fear being knocked out. So, it just allowed me to go out there and fight the way I fight every single time I go out there. So, yeah.
And like you had a great first round, like good punches, good ground and pound. You moved really good, and even like between rounds, like fans, I think, can see that one fighter is like super confident and willing to go to the second round, and like the other one is a little bit maybe not broken, but he has in the end some problems. So even like in the visual things, you looked much better like between the rounds.
Yeah.
And when you fought, I saw that sometimes your hands are quite low. And do you do it like on purpose, and you won't like catch your opponent, or is it like more of the like something like the instinct, and your hands sometimes just go down a little bit?
It's a little bit of both. Like, I, me personally, I think it's fun to have my hands a little low. And I also move a little better as when I'm trying to do certain things. But I also have like a really good understanding of range, and I know where I'm safe and where I'm not. But yeah, I think in the first round, I had my hands low, and I think I invited him to like come in for another blitz, and I was able to like land like a perfect left hook that like knocked his mouthpiece out. But also, it kind of I'll get into like that taekwondo karate type of bounce, and I could just kind of like throw my shots from angles that people really don't expect. But yeah, I don't know. I've been since the day I started training, I've been getting told not to do that. But hey, I mean, nobody make me pay for it yet, so.
And it's a little bit like King Green right now because he also like to fight in this kind of like a kind of weird way, but definitely it is effective, and it's probably can be a little bit just tricky for your opponents. Of course, it can be also risky thing, but in the end, it's not as something which is like the standard thing.
Yeah. Like it's like I like using psychology when I fight, and it's kind of like I can't remember exactly the terms, like operant conditioning. So it's like sometimes I'll do that, and then they're like, "Oh, his hands are low. I gotta punish that." And then when they do that, then that's when you counter. Then you do that enough times to where I can just sit in front of somebody with my hands low, and then they got burned from touching the stove so many times they don't even want to throw anymore. So then it's kind of it allows me like when I get to that point now, it's free reign. I can kind of do whatever. So it's like it's taking a risk, but it's a big payoff.
And like we mentioned in the first conversation, I really like your opponents on the beginning of your career because they may be not super experienced in pro MMA, but all of them are really talented fighters. Definitely your opponent will be back. And if you can tell me right now with your record, with your experience, do you have maybe someone in mind that you think that you against this fighter would be like really good matchup for you?
Uh, Not really. I I kind of try to take myself out of the mindset of like having my eye on this person or that person because in reality, my last four fights outside of one person, I didn't know who any of these people were before I fought them. So it's like I could be fighting anybody. There's millions of like people that can come that they can find for me, but it's either like they give it to me, and if the fight makes sense, I'm just gonna take the fight. So it's I really don't see the benefit in really trying to like cherry pick opponents or look for certain people. So it's just whoever they got.
And last year you lost one fight. It was like only your career, your loss in your career. And what kind of like takeaways of or lessons did you take from that performance?
Yeah, that one actually changed a lot for me. That remember I told you there was like only one person I knew before. That was the one person, and I had my eye on him for about a year and a half before we actually fought. And when we were kind of had like similar careers. Like we were both killing in the amateurs. I think he was primarily a 55er, but I had just got down to 55. And I felt like he was probably like the best name in the division, like in the region. And I was like, okay, well, like that would be like a really good test. I was like, if I can beat him, then I know where I stand. And but we were fighting in two different promotions, and it didn't seem like he was leaving the CFFC anytime soon. And I didn't think I was going to be in the CFFC anytime soon. So it was more like just keeping him on my radar. But when I got to the CFFC, that was the first name they offered me. And I remember I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. But I told the promoter, I'm like, I'll do it, yeah. And he ended up not being able to take the fight because of scheduling or whatever. And they found me somebody else. And so I went along taking that fight. And then by the time I get to when I peak in camp, it's not just physical, it's my confidence. My confidence is through the roof. And the dude ended up like a week before, he ended up pulling out of the fight. And they were like, "Yo, we got a replacement," and they gave me his name's Cheeto, and I was like, by that time when they offered me the name, it was like no hesitation. I'm like, "Oh hell yeah!" I was like, "Yo, I'm smoking them." Like, yeah, I'm ready. But we ended up taking the fight, so we ended up fighting in like 7 days notice at a catch weight, and I remember I went to that fight super confident, and just knowing like this is like for me, I was like, this was the name. If I can beat him, then I know where I stand. And the first round went really good. Like I thought I won the first round, and it was either the first or the second round. I don't know how I didn't. I hit him with the cleanest flying knee you can land on somebody. But you know the Mexicans, they got that chin. It's like it was crazy. He ate it. But I think the second round, and he was also a D3. wrestling champion. So I went to the fight with the mindset of like, okay, if I can keep it on the feet and don't wrestle with him, then I'll be fine. But at the same time, by the time the fight came, like I said, my confidence is sky high. I'm like, you know what? If I can take him down, that'll be a good feather in my cap. So the first round I win. The second round, he shoots immediately, and we're against the cage. And I try to do some shit I've never trained before, some takedown. It looked good in my head in the moment, but I end up like slamming myself on my head and like kind of rung my bell. And from there, the fight was just downhill. I was trying to recover, and then he just kind of ran away with it with like just control and ground and pound. But I remember I lost the fight, and even though I had just lost my second pro fight, I wanted to go undefeated, but I didn't. As I'm walking through after the fight, I walk around like trying to find my family and the people that bought tickets in the arena. And I couldn't make it through the crowd without getting stopped every 2 seconds saying, "Yo, that was a good fight." Like people were like really like high on me after that fight. And I remember feeling like I didn't lose. Like I had more confidence knowing that I went in with somebody that was like at that high of a level and I was able to like hang with them. And yeah, ever since that fight, I just like I said, I decided I'm not going to put too much stock into people's names to make them bigger than they are. And also, I just like I said, I grew a lot in confidence. I knew I could hang with like the best in the world. But yeah, actually, the morning after this fight, he called me and he said the same thing. He was like, "Yo, just you were a lot different than you were before, and this and that." That meant a lot to me. But yes, I feel like since then my confidence has just grown like this. I don't know. I feel I can hang with anybody. I feel like not only hang, now I feel like I can beat anybody, and in the same exact way I just did the last time.
And who knows, maybe rematch in like 2 or 3 years, maybe even in like a bigger promotion will happen. So it will be like additional story behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally hate rematches. Like if me and him never fought again, I would be fine. Especially I like him too. Feel like it'd be I don't feel like it'd be hard to fight him again, but it would have to make sense. It gotta be a title or like some UFC type fight. But nah, that'd be a big fight.
And we are just like few days away from your fight. And right now, do you train or do you even think about training, or is like a time for rest for you?
It's a little bit of both. I was in the gym on Tuesday. I did some rolling, but I'm super banged up. Like my right hand got messed up from an uppercut I landed. The last head kick, I messed my right foot up, and that dude calf kicked the shit out of me. So my left leg is still sore. Like I got a ice sleeve on it right now. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get back to training full time maybe next week. But right now it's just here and there. Plus I got teammates competing in this big MMA tournament this weekend, so my attention is more focused on like helping them get ready. But after that, yeah, I'm getting right back to it.
And from like your experience as the fighter, and of course, like also watching MMA on the highest level possible, what in your opinion is the like one or few needed things or factors to be a successful world class fighter?
Well, like I said, one, I feel like you got to be confident in your abilities and you got to prove yourself to yourself. And another one would definitely be just studying yourself. Like, not even just studying like your opponents, but study like how you fight. Like, I watch my own fights over and over and over again. I probably watched the last fight at least 20 times by now. And then I watch my old fights. I even like journal. I write down how many strikes I landed, my accuracy. Like I'll literally grade different areas of myself every fight and compare it and see where I might have got better and where I might have regressed and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like knowing yourself and looking at yourself objectively too. Like as as many compliments I got over that fight, the first night I was already picking out areas where like, all right, I could have got knocked out there, or I need to fix this because next person isn't gonna like let that slide. So yeah, it's always even when you win, always look for areas of improvement. That doesn't mean like be hard on yourself. Like I'm not saying, oh, I suck or nothing like that, but like if I want to keep this momentum going, I got to tighten up certain areas. So yeah, it's just knowing yourself, studying yourself, improving, finding areas where you think you can improve, and finding areas where if somebody were to fight you, what would they be looking to exploit? And like I said, just being honest. So I would say those two are the biggest things.
So it's like being a student of the game. So you are all the time in this kind of things. So either like from your performance or everything else, it's like being a little bit probably like obsessed also with the game.
That's the thing.
And this is like a theoretical question, but let's say that you have to pick one sport to compete, and it's not. It can be MMA, and we are not talking about money, but only about like things you like to do. So it's like combat sports, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling competition, grappling, bare knuckle, everything, but not MMA. Which of the sport would you pick?
That's a hard one. Believe it or not, I really don't like the individual sports. I really don't like them. Uh, Definitely not doing jujitsu. I hate jujitsu. Maybe boxing. It's the only sport where I like the scoring criteria kind of like aligns with my style. It's more of a it's the I feel like I feel like that's probably the closest thing to a fight, maybe. But yeah, maybe yeah, probably boxing.
So not a bare knuckle.
Oh, if they paying right.
Yes, yes, but this sport is definitely exciting, but also kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy. I got a couple of homies that do it, but yeah, they had to pay me.
And this Saturday we will have a big UFC card, UFC 330, Islam against Ian Gary. And
Mhm.
what do you think will happen in this fight?
That's a good question. I feel like Islam should win, but I feel like Ian he does come up with really good game plans. So maybe there's a way he could some type of game plan he could try to find and neutralize Islam. Maybe fighting out at outside range. Maybe I'm not really sure. I really hadn't gave too much thought to the fight until now, but I'll kind of lean towards Islam.
Yes, but in the end, it should be quite a good fight because Ian he is a little bit like tricky fighter. He got some tricks in his sleeves. So even with the like kind of dominance that Islam has, I think that it can be a little bit like closer fight that on the like first look.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially if he comes in with the right game plan, which I'm sure he will. So yeah, who knows? We might get an upset this weekend.
Okay, Iman. So many thanks for the time and for conversation.
Yeah,
I really hope that your next fight will be as like impressive or even more expressive than this one was, and I hope that you will be back in the cage quite soon, delivering another this kind of performances
I
in
appreciate it.
CFFC cage.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, bro.